The May 16, 2023 meeting of the Pearl L. Crawford Memorial Library Board of Trustees. With us this evening, we have the Library Director, Drusilla Carter. We have Trustee Kathy Sandstrom. We have Trustee Adria Buda. We have Trustee Ben Craver and Trustee Joyce Nerezinski and yours truly, Richard Clark. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Say one of those two.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a note, hopefully this recording is going to be Academy Award winning caliber.
I think we just need to speak and say when someone makes a motion and seconds, we need to say who it is so that it's
Right.
correct. You know what I mean? It's easy to hear.
We'll try to do our best to provide you with the best quality in terms of at least voice. So
Sorry.
please move the mics accordingly as you need to if you're speaking, and there have been some issues of late, and hopefully that won't be the case tonight. Alrighty, moving along, we have meeting minutes from March 7th, 2023 and April 11th, 2023. Just for the public record, I wanted to thank Joyce for her assistance in helping to put together the minutes for March 7th. She brought to memory a couple of things that I would have missed, and thankfully we have something to offer you as minutes for March 7th. I think we need to take those individually at this point. Does someone care to make a motion with regards to March 7th, having reviewed them, hopefully?
I make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from March 7th, 2023.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Good.
Abstain because I wasn't there.
All right, so
I
we
abstained
have,
as well, because I was not there.
all right, so we have 3 and 2 abstentions.
Yep.
Thank you. And we have April 11th, 2023, and I thank again Joyce and Kathy for their diligence in terms of editing those notes and proofreading them. I don't know what your career path might have been, Kathy, but it seems that you're very adept at that.
Yeah, I've had a lot of experience in proofreading, so.
Oh, did you?
For different jobs, so.
Well, you've done well, and by us at least, and thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. Did
Uh,
everybody have a chance to read tonight's that,
I think we may have, okay. Anyone?
did you receive them in the email? I
You
didn't.
want to take a couple of minutes
Oh, okay.
and look through them then?
You need to double check this to make sure? Thanks.
All right.
While she's doing that, I made the motion to accept the March 7th, who seconded?
Adriana.
Adriana, thank you. All right, Joyce is going to provide us a little backup just in case.
This was correct?
Yeah,
That's okay.
yeah, it has a $10 state.
Because I hadn't written it on my notes.
Yeah, no, it's just the state aid, but it's from state.
Okay, thanks.
All right, with regards to April 11th, 2023, what's the board's pleasure?
I make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from April 11th, 2023.
Do we have a second?
A second?
And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Again, I will abstain. I wasn't
All
there.
right, so that would be 4-1. Okay, in terms of the vote. Thank you. Moving along, we have Director's Report, Programs, Budget, and Facilities.
Programs, the only thing is that Lita is working on nailing down the final schedule for summer reading. if you've been to summer reading at the library, you know that traditionally the state provides us with a theme. It's a theme that most of the libraries in the country do. Last year they switched to a different provider of summer reading stuff. So the theme this year has taken a little longer to figure out how to do appropriate programming for.
What's the theme?
It is using your voice. So, you know, she didn't like my suggestion of having the little one stand in the parking lot and scream.
Surprise.
So, anyhow, so you can keep an eye on the calendar on the website, but those things should be going on, summer reading schedule should be going on there in the next week or so. And the summer reading kickoff will be on June 24th, which is a Saturday, and we are having Pepper the Party Pig. Don't ask me, apparently he's very popular, but
Peppa
he is,
Pig?
he is a pig. No, it's not Peppa Pig.
Oh, okay.
He is.
What is the name?
Peppa the
He
party
is
pig.
the party pig. And and I gather there's also another pig named Violet that the kids will be able to pet and talk to, and I don't know, animals are always a big hit, so that's,
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Well, we've had raptors, we've had possums, we've had tortoises.
turtles, yeah.
Why not a pig?
Having pigs,
And of course,
so-
we had llama and goats and sheep outside. so-
Yep, so, yeah, so we're having, and he, I gather from what Lita told me that, his owner has written a children's book about this pig, so it kind of
Nice.
ties in with the,
Wow. Charlotte's Web.
I don't think it's that one,
Well, she definitely used her voice.
Yes, yes, yeah.
but anyhow, so you can come on the 24th and see a pig.
Okay.
So, I have a question about the theme. How is the theme gonna be used, applied, like, or what's gonna happen?
So every library in Massachusetts is sort of handed the theme.
Mm-hmm.
It is, here is your theme.
And then you
for
do
the
what?
year. And then some libraries try very hard to tie their programs into that theme. We, for example, are having a storyteller
Mhm.
for kids and families because that's a way of using your voice. Some libraries, and it depends on what the theme is every year, some libraries go, you know what, there's no way. It sort of depends on the
Okay.
individual library, but Lita is trying to figure out ways to sort of at least reference it.
With the change in the last year, do we receive any materials? In the past, I know we've received
Yes.
quite a bit of materials for
Yes.
different themes.
We do, you know, the posters
Right,
and
okay, we still
so
get
on,
stuff.
yes.
Okay.
And it's not, we don't get sort of unlimited, it's the same as it used to be,
Okay.
where each library is given sort of a credit amount that we can spend. But the Mass Board of Library Commissioners made the decision to switch to this other, sort of group that does summer reading themes. So it used to be that we in Connecticut and Rhode Island and everybody else all did the same theme. We are now the odd ones out here.
Oh.
So,
Can you just put the microphone closer to you?
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully they did their homework and the vendor that they've selected will be able to bring some good ideas to the table. Good luck. That's
I
about
mean,
all I
it's,
can
like I
offer.
said, it is just something that is, you know, it is sort of above the individual library's pay grade.
I mean, use your voice, it almost sounds like a talent contest or something.
It sounds like
Just
we
like
could
an
do
advocacy.
anything with it.
Yeah, well,
You can go
so-
many different directions with this
Yes.
theme.
Yeah.
It's like, where are we
Some
going
of them are
with
really
this?
wrong.
You know,
some of them.
past, the previous vendor had things like, I remember Catch the Reading Bug, and everything was
Exactly.
bug related.
Mm.
We had one that was outer space sort of themed.
What was last year's again?
Last year was, I don't remember the exact phrase, but it was something about camping and being out
Oh,
in the
yes,
woods.
yeah. Camping.
Which was a little bit easier. This one, my understanding is that most of the children's librarians in Central Mass have been going, but what, how do I tie in with this?
Yeah.
So, but like I said, Lita's nailing down kind of the final schedule to make sure that she has a little bit of something for everyone, so.
Oh,
Good.
That's a big program, I mean, over the years, and,
Yeah, well, last year we had 500 kids register, plus adults and teenagers, so it's very popular.
good. Yeah, it is, do we have, did you want to go for fifth? Okay. We noticed we have the highlights, the Easter egg hunt. What were the numbers on the Easter egg hunt?
I believe it was 210.
210,
For the Easter
that's
egg
probably
hunt.
on the tally sheet.
It is
there.
on, I was gonna say, it's on the
210.
Yeah, 210. That's,
statistics.
again, a good number, right.
Of course, animals came in high,
Oh, yes,
343.
yep. Well, we do that we've started the past couple of years, we've done that petting zoo every April vacation. And it seems to work well.
Excuse me, well, the kids love the
And
animals.
for the second year running, we had a young man of about 15 bring his girlfriend to see the animals, which we thought was great. Some of the teenagers who live in people who live in the apartment buildings around come to see what's going on. And this young man brought his girlfriend to check the animals,
That's a
so.
cheap date. All right, I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. All right.
Yes.
Okay, let us move along quickly and disregard the last few seconds here. Budget issues?
No issues, we should come in, under budget as usual. We are working to make sure at this point that we will meet the materials expenditure requirement. But we do have a couple of bills that have not come in for that yet, so we should be fine on that front.
All righty.
The ones that we're way over. Building maintenance contract,
Yes, so
utilities.
utilities,
Telephone.
is because of the increased cost of utilities. So in next year's budget, I had asked for an increase in that line item.
Oh, good.
Telephone is partially because we had to have the fax machine or the fax line repaired, several months ago, so that was a couple $100 that had not accounted for, but again, I have increased that line item for next year's budget. And, maintenance contracts, it's just been an expensive year for maintenance contracts, but we are a bottom line budget, so as long as we come in under overall,
Yep.
that is the important thing.
All right. And we have facilities. We've had a couple of open items there. Obviously, we're still researching the idea in terms of furniture options.
Yes, and I've been back and forth to nudge a couple of vendors about what they can offer for that. We did have someone, very generously donate a pair of armchairs. So if you have been in the children's department in the last couple of weeks, you will see that there's a pair of new armchairs. They happen to be the right color. They matched.
wonderful.
They matched everything. And this lovely couple offered them to us. They're pretty much brand new. So, that was helpful. That adds a little bit of seating.
Does that retire some existing furniture, or is it just an additional?
For the time being, it's additional. We're kind of looking at where to put it and how to integrate it. I noticed that one of the chairs has moved several times. I think people have been rearranging it as they decide they want it here or there or something.
And the thought was, we were still looking at one of the state programs, perhaps through the corrections department?
Yes, and for whatever reason, I have contacted the person there twice, and I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board and figure out, sort of start the process over, because I'm not hearing back from the next step in the process. So you have to contact the Department of Corrections,
Mhm.
and then they send you on to like the upholstery fabric people. And then you go back and say, okay, I've chosen my fabric, here's.
Did you
and-
get that far or no?
I cannot get the confirmation that these samples that Lita and I liked are available. So that's kind of where we've gotten stalled. So I'm gonna have to go back to the guy at the Department of Corrections and say, what do I do if I can't, if I don't know that I can get this?
unfortunately, at some point, if we don't get any response, we'll have to start looking at alternatives.
Well, I have also reached out to a couple of other vendors in the last few weeks, just to say, hi, what do you have?
Some of that
might work.
furniture is showing its age, it's been worn. I mean, it's there for a purpose and it's been used, obviously, so, but it doesn't last forever, regrettably. So hopefully to be continued to get some progress there. We obviously have the other issues still pending in terms of the flagpole, hopefully the spring weather, somebody's got a
Yeah,
paintbrush in the Department of.
we're on the list for the highway department, so.
And the doors, we've never been able to find a person or the person.
I know, and I've reached out to, I have the phone number for Ernie Morse, and I get a very odd message now when I call. I had left a message and had not heard back, and I gathered that he did not get the message, so not sure what the,
And how about the email that didn't work?
that bounced back. And then the phone number that I called this last time, I got a very odd message saying, that the number was not in service, but to dial, I don't know, 6 or whatever, for a similar business listing. And I went,
So, my question, I guess, about the doors is that something like, why did we specifically use Ernie? Is that something we could put on the highway department with the pole?
the highway department does not seem interested in doing refinishing the wood.
It's more of a carpentry
Yeah.
thing, so he's a carpenter and
I'm
he
thinking
builds things from
paint,
hand.
sorry.
Yeah, no, cause
Yeah.
they're the wood.
Alright.
Yeah.
I think the thought was he had done it before, so
Yep.
we
Yeah,
just assumed that we
exactly.
would stay with that as a known resource.
So I have kind of put feelers out to some of the libraries in the area,
Oh.
just to say, does anybody have anyone that they recommend?
Well, hopefully there's an option. I'm sure there are people out there skilled enough to be able to do a really nice job with just making
I
contact
mean,
with that
Lita,
one.
Lita and I have both refinished wood, it's just that we have other things to do, you know?
Do you want me to reach out for Ernie to call you again?
Yeah, if you don't mind, if you
Okay.
can, you know, if you have a way to get through to him, cause
Yeah,
like
we
I
could.
said, the number that I've called, that,
Okay.
And you may find out he can't do it.
you know,
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
just
I have
very-
someone who's a very good friend of his that knows the person
Yeah,
number
no,
and all
just
that,
because,
so.
like I said, I'd left a message and then
Okay.
he said he hadn't gotten it, so
Right.
I tried to call back and I got this very strange,
Alright.
you know,
And it's just
I'll reach out
odd
and see if
none
he
of
can
these
call you.
vendors are ever getting back to you. It's
yeah, I mean, there are only so many people who do some of the things that we need, so, like, the furniture that we buy for the library is not like the furniture you put in your living room,
I know,
it's, you know,
but
the
it
heavy
seems like it
duties,
happens a
so,
lot, I just wonder
yeah,
why.
no, and it's not just us, that's the way it is.
Now, in the town, the organization, as far as administration goes in the town hall, if you will, the procurement officer is Mr. Ruda. Can he help us in regards to any of these issues, perhaps?
Not like, when it comes to like upholstered furniture, it's not something that they
Okay.
use here in town halls, so he,
Well, the other thing that I think is becoming very noticeable, as I was seeing it earlier today, is that sign that we have on the millstone.
Millstone, that was gonna be.
That's
the
really gone.
replacement is, on its way. Joel confirmed with me from Graphics Unlimited that he had contacted the manufacturer and that they are shipping out a replacement.
And
Of
is
the
it,
same? Are they gonna repeat what they did?
I
Because
don't know.
It'll last.
But according to Joel, something must have gone wrong because they've used that same plaque before and it's designed to be
Outdoors.
outside.
All right.
something
but
definitely
so
did
the-
go wrong,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's
He-
deteriorated
he-
badly.
Has been talking to them and they supposedly have shipped the new one or are shortly going to ship the new one.
You get a guarantee or warranty on that at all, or is this?
Well, I mean, they're replacing it for free, so.
Oh, that's good enough, that'll
It's
work,
not,
thank you.
they're not
That's a
charging us.
warranty.
That's it, that works for me,
They're not charging
yeah.
us for this, they are replacing it.
And as I recall, the digital sign guys, there was gonna be something that they were going to do to clean that up. I don't know if it's, I don't notice that it's happened. Is that still in the cards, or is that,
I can check with Joel, I know they put the piece of trim on that was
Mhm.
missing, there was a piece of trim they needed to sort of cover a seam, and that is up.
says parts of it have weathered.
Yeah,
It's just
well,
the
part of that
normal
is that
course of
it's-
events, but.
It's an old frame, and we
Well,
use the
yeah,
existing frame.
These, the old signs need a little more TLC perhaps, and they age. All right, I've just babbled on a bit here in terms of facilities. Anyone have anything else that you think we need to address? Well, we do have the carpeting issue. And I think we've somewhat come to the conclusion that we're not gonna get the whole floor, and we're gonna have to do this somewhat piecemeal. I don't know if we staked out a thought in terms of an area and
I
some
had
proposal out there for.
I had actually sent a proposal to the Malzer Trust for the cost of replacing the carpeting in the children's area,
Okay.
because that is the worst. And we were not funded
Oh,
at all.
okay.
With an explanation?
No explanation. Deb Horan did tell me that there were, cause I saw her yesterday, that there were an awful lot of, that they had an unexpected number of proposals this year. But I had expected that they might say, we can't give you the whole amount, but we can give you something, and I just got we are on it, we've chosen to fund other projects, so.
All right, so we need a
Outside their
mechanism,
purview.
we need a mechanism going forward then. And would that be something we'd be looking to put into the proposed budget?
It's not, it would have to be next year's budget.
Next year's.
Because at this point, we're looking at a cut for the coming year, so it's
By
not.
FY 2024?
Yeah, all department heads have been told that there will be no capital requests this
Oh.
coming year, that's just not going to happen.
Understandably.
To the point that like the fire department was told they couldn't replace the fire truck they need to replace, so.
Well,
Is it an option to ask the Friends, or they'd fund other things that would be too much to ask of them?
That they wouldn't have the money.
Okay.
They wouldn't have close to the money for that.
well, unfortunately, it looks like we'll have to table that for the time being and hope for better days to come. Facilities, anything further need to address? I know we had gentlemen in there today to test the water.
Yes, they do that 4 times a year, 3 times a year. Yeah, they pop in, they make sure that it doesn't have any unacceptable levels of whatever the levels are.
Oh, is that PFAS related?
I think that's one of the things that they
Oh.
test for, but we
Yeah,
have a
they
whole
test for
filtration
bacteria and
system.
stuff too.
So, yeah, bacteria, lead, any of that stuff.
Coliforms, yeah.
But it only takes him like 20 minutes, he's in and out, and he pokes things, and there are some bangs, and then I'll get a report
Oh,
in a
so
day or two.
report's pending. We don't know if we
Yeah,
passed or not.
but we've always passed before, and they don't seem
Good.
unduly concerned.
Alrighty, good. So safe drinking water at the library, folks. Next on the agenda, we had something that was proposed by one of the trustees, this survey to determine patron interest. Did I get some of that right?
Yes.
Alrighty. Would you,
So, I think we talked about it a little bit last time. I think I joined, 5 months ago, and every so often we try to figure out what our patrons would like and what would they need, and there's a lot of guessing, and I reach out to parents on Facebook, and I'm a mom, I'm a teacher, but I think it would be better if we put out a survey and we would ask them, what would you like to see? And it doesn't have to be a lot of questions, maybe 5 or 6, but very specific. Can that be done?
Oh, it's
Would
been
that
done
be a-
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's been done
I'll
before.
reach out to the other CW Mars directors, because they will have done it, and they can figure out
Don't
what
need to
way is,
reinvent the wheel.
yeah, what way is most effective.
Yeah.
Have we done it before?
We have.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was I have the records, it's from like 10 years
I was
ago,
gonna
and it's
say.
paper
So
sheets
it's
that
paper you
people
picked up
fill
as it-
out,
yeah.
so,
So it's a-
Just Survey Monkey or
Pre-social
something, right?
media.
yeah, but
Well, now there's
Can we
so
use
many-
Survey
Probably a
Monkey,
good
or
time
do
for
we need a?
technology, so-
no, that is why I'm going
There
to.
should be some in person. Like,
Right,
I think
well,
there should still be
Yes.
some in
if,
person.
sure.
as you came into this
Yeah.
building, there were
Yeah.
3 proposals that were presented
Yeah.
down there and an opportunity for people
Right.
to respond with
As
paper.
you say, reach out to
Yeah, I'm gonna
your
reach out and
fellow
see
people to see what's successful.
what's worked, what do
Okay.
they get the most.
Good idea.
But yeah, I can do that.
I guess
Thank
I
you.
misunderstood. I thought that was something that was gonna happen between the last
I
meeting
did
and this
too.
meeting, so
Yeah,
I missed
well,
that
we'll
part.
go forward with that, and be interesting to see what those
But I agree
responses
with
are.
you, keep it simple. Don't put the burden too much, keep it a few questions so people
ask
will
20
actually do it.
questions, yeah.
If they see next too many times at the bottom of that
Exactly.
page, they're
Like,
gonna turn them off. Okay. All right, so it'll be interesting to see what the results are in terms of what kind of feedback we get and
And-
what direction that might take.
So what are we looking for? Are we looking to put out a survey and we're gonna give it 30 days, or what
Well,
are we
that's
gonna
the
look for
other,
a
I'll
timeframe?
ask what other directors have done, because
30
again.
days?
Well, I don't know what
Oh.
they have done, and so if they have discovered that they get, if someone else has done like, I don't know, a Facebook survey and discovered that they get all their responses in the first 5 days and then never hear from anyone else,
Yep.
then that can tailor what we do.
I would be very interested in the types of questions that were asked before. Like, what would you ask? Would you like, are you interested in more, I don't know, what type of literature, what type of services, like, because we can't ask 20, 50 questions,
No,
right?
I mean,
People
if
would get
we're-
bored, but like, we want to ask the important questions.
Yeah, no, if we're asking about programming, then it would have to be very tailored
Mhm.
to, programming interests, so.
Is that something, Adriana, that you could, it sounds like you wanna participate in the
I
development
do,
of
or
that.
maybe we can all agree together what would be important or interesting.
I mean, how about if
Parent
board
perspective.
members, have questions that they would like answers to, why don't you email those to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I can, proceed accordingly.
Yep, that gets it started, all right?
Yep.
And then you'll be checking, you said, with others, and we'll see
Yeah,
what
just
the,
to see what other directors have done and then, go from there.
Sure.
cobble that
We'll
together
forward
and see
those
what the
to us,
combination
yeah.
might look like. All right, good.
So you want us to email you, Drusilla, if we have a
Yeah,
question?
if you have a, or there's something that you're particularly curious about.
And if any further questions, that sounds like we're going forward there and hopefully have some good results. Story time schedule clarification. Again, this is Adriana's question or concern.
Yes, so I think there was a misunderstanding somewhere. I'm a fierce advocate for people who work, for families who have a 9-to-5 job, and most of the time they can't make it to story time at 11 o'clock. And that's why I requested if we could have another one later in the day. But if we have it at 3, that's no different than 11.
Yeah, well,
So we have 2 days when the library closes at 8. So I was wondering, could one of those days be used for actually late story time, like 5:30?
I
not
can,
3.
I can ask Rita, so Thursday nights are not an option because there's no one there to do it.
Okay.
You do not want me doing story time. That is not my skill set. I can ask Rita if she can look into offering them and see, what the response is. I know she did it several times, and did not necessarily have a good, response, but.
I know,
mean,
but maybe that was in the past and we can try
Yeah,
again.
so I'll talk to her about trying it again,
But what
she's-
would be the time?
more
Because
market.
well, I
3:45 is-
don't know what her schedule is on Monday nights, because
Mm.
I leave at 5.
Okay,
So she's the one who sets children's programming and what the schedule is on Monday nights, so I will have to talk to her and see what she could do that would be later.
So the library's open until 8,
Eight.
and one night Lead is there, and the other late night
Yes.
you're there.
Yep.
So it would have to be the night that Lead is there.
Yep.
mhm.
Right, so on
And
Mondays.
Try to
You know.
incorporate something
but
for
I-
after 5 PM is what
I
I think
can-
we're looking for.
Yeah, I can talk to her and see,
I actually have
would be-
talked to some of the families that I work with and asked about that, cause I was like,
Oh, good.
what are your thoughts? And I work with a lot of families in Webster and Dudley and all that, and they seemed interested. They're like, but, like, we might not make it the first time or whatever. I'm like, I know, we need to have it consistently for a while before
Yeah.
people realize it's happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
What
that's
time-
the only thing, you
Well-
can't judge it on, we've had it a couple of times, because
In the past.
it needs to be
Yeah.
really consistent for a while before people get it, and they're like, oh, yes.
What time would they, did they have a preference in terms of the time? I
I
don't know,
kind
5
of-
too early, or?
I think the preference I get for them was like after 4:30 or 5.
Oh,
well,
okay,
After 5,
okay.
4:30, 5 o'clock,
Okay.
because some of them work until.
then they could
Yeah,
go to
I'm
the
just
by the
thinking
time they
somebody
pick
needing
kids
to
up.
get from wherever they're working to home and whatever has to be
Kids,
settled
daycare.
there before they can go out and then do something else. And whatever that time happens, there's no perfect time, obviously,
yeah.
but there might be one that's a little bit better than the other.
Yeah.
That would be good.
And I
That's-
mean, I feel that I don't know, but I don't know that it would be much of a more of a burden for Lita, because she's already prepped, and it would be a duplicate. We're not
Right.
asking her
Exactly.
to
Do
do.
the whole
Yeah, no,
thing,
it
yeah.
We're
would-
not asking her to do another different story.
She
It's
would
like
have
the same.
to, I'll have to
but
talk to her
later.
about it, because her story times are Tuesday, Wednesday, so if we're doing a Monday night one, it would be a question of which
People
one
that
is
can
she
come Monday night.
duplicating? Yeah, but which one is she duplicating, kind of, you know, cause that's in advance.
Whatever she
Anyway,
wants.
I will talk to her about the
Thank you.
possibility and see what she
I've
says.
spoken with a lot of parents and neighbors and teachers, and a lot of people are interested in this. And I know that we had a story time at 5 or 6 one time, and we did have multiple patrons who asked us, is this gonna be a regular thing? So there is interest, and I know that we've
Right.
done things in the past that didn't work, but now it's a different population. Maybe those kids grew up, maybe we can try again and see what happens, because if we
Ebbs
just
and
say all the
flows.
time,
Right.
we've done it and we're not gonna try it again, we're not gonna have a lot of results.
Let me throw a real wild card out here. I think in the recesses of my aging brain here, I seem to recall the gentleman to my right having done story time.
I saw that in the minutes, young man.
And did very well, in fact. I mean, in
Exactly.
terms of dramatic presentation, I think we'd be hard put to top Mr. Craver here. I don't know what his availability is, but would that be an unreasonable thing in terms of volunteers doing it, or does it have to be Lita? I mean, this guy could carry the show
Yeah,
himself.
we
here.
do,
We signed
we
up
do
for
have
volunteer
to,
program
so
with their
anyone
approval.
who volunteers in the library, like if he was gonna come in, would have to have a background check.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
required.
well,
Cory
Oh,
check.
I've been Cory.
all right.
But
Yeah.
that's a requirement, I have to have a clear Cory check and it has to be on file with, you know, the town has to tell me that it's clear.
That's minor, that's really
Yeah,
minor.
I know.
That's for any volunteer,
Well, From
right?
what I'm
Yeah,
remembering, I
everybody-
think
yeah,
that was
yeah.
pre-Cory, some
Oh,
years
no,
back.
I've been Cory for
But-
the Dudley Library.
So
I've been Cory
we
for
have
the
a
library.
qualified individual here.
Well, so
Well,
then the
yeah,
next
we've done
time you're
your-
in the library, talk to Lita. That's, that's her.
I
that's
can't
her
miss
department.
meetings, that's all. that
Well,
matters.
it wouldn't be Tuesdays,
I do one
okay, it
night.
would be, we're looking at Thursdays, I think, and he's done remarkably well, and,
Mondays.
Mondays.
and who knows, we have a lot of talent here in terms of our group, we may have
He
other
does it once,
volunteers
she
who.
does it once,
I
I
do it once.
then
All
we
right,
have 3 months.
oh, wait, here we
3
go,
weeks.
so, we have
Help Lita out.
we have I think it might be good for the kids too, you know, every once in a while, somebody, that's my grandfather up there, or something like that, you know, or that guy lives next door, I know who he is, and kudos to Mr. Craver for past experience.
You know, you have the town administrator, the fire chief,
Yeah.
they do
Oh.
community reading
The
days.
the fire assistant chief does come once a year. The assistant chief comes and usually,
Yeah.
The police come at one point and bring the,
Yeah, we could have
canine
celebrity
dog.
speakers, you know, kind of thing from the town.
Right, we've got,
That's nice. how you-
We
that
do
might be
during
how
the
you
town
bill
meeting day.
The Monday night reading program, you're gonna see a
Yes.
group of 10
Yeah.
different people at different
we
times.
could
You don't know who you're
I
gonna
like this
see.
We-
I like this brainstorming.
we get the town administrator, we strategically place him near the biggest hole in the carpeting,
You have to walk past them to get to the story time
or the
room,
lousiest
so-
piece of furniture we have can be his pedestal. No, we strike that from the record.
You're being recorded.
Sorry, it's in there.
All right, well, apparently there's no end to the talent available, so we'll have to avail ourselves of that.
We could
going forward.
market that with little flyers up in Park and Shop and the local areas too.
Oh,
You know,
Social
so that people will see it.
Oh.
Because Facebook,
Yeah.
endless.
yeah, and
endless,
if you
endless.
start that, and then they can see it like, oh, that's cool, and you know, take a little tab or something.
Yeah, I mean, that someone might recognize a face or a name and say, oh, well, you know, today we're going to story time. All right, moving down the line before I get any more off track here. Outreach opportunities, programming, and email addresses. I think we dealt with the email addresses. The outreach opportunities, we've kind of stymied because we were looking at some contacts at a local campus.
And any word back from Nichols?
And
So,
I've sent them a couple of things again, so I don't,
but I'm wondering if we approached Nichols instead of, I'm not sure how it was approached, so I shouldn't say, but, approaching them to do something specific.
that's what I did.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
first time I had reached out and just said we had, you know, volunteer opportunities, but the second time I approached and said, one of the things that we could really use is people to provide assistance with, like, technology.
That's what- okay.
And that would be right up the alley of students, and if
Yeah.
there was somebody who could give even, hey, I've got 2 hours on the first Tuesday of the month, then we could
Right.
make it as, you know, tech help available. So yeah, have not gotten heard back.
One of the banners they have on the lamp post or the light post up there is services, one of the things that's indicated on there. I kind of hope that they would take
That's an
that
important thing.
idea
They
off
just
campus.
they just graduated and all the students have gone.
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
no,
well,
it's
So
dead up there.
now is the
Yeah,
best time to ask,
Yes.
though.
Yeah, no.
Now is the time when they can entertain, like, oh my gosh, well, once they get all their grades in and their
Yeah, no, I
diplomas.
was not going, I was going to give
Um,
them a month or so to, that's what I did
Because
last
then they
year,
can
is give it
digest
a-
these extra things, you know? The faculty is usually off in the summer unless they're teaching.
Well, I
online.
think
Yeah, that's- I
our
had
question
reached
would be
out.
addressed more to administration at this point
Yeah,
than to
and
faculty.
I have a couple contacts, I have 2 different contacts now up at Nichols, and like I said, I've sent stuff, and both times I've gotten, will pass the information on, but have not necessarily gotten a response.
Kathy, you may be able to answer my question. With the new administration up there, has their outlook on volunteering changed?
I don't know, because I'm not there anymore.
You're not, I just
So
wondered
I
if
don't
you
know.
saw it when it happened.
Well, 'cause
Because,
they
I mean,
used
they
to have,
used to have
yeah, they used to have a
requirements.
service, and a
Right.
service club.
There are
that
no
would
longer
contact
cultural
me.
credits required.
Okay,
No?
that's answering part of my question, because we would get, at the end of the year, we
They
would
were
get.
But many
Required.
They would come
clubs
in and
require
say-
service hours. Many of the clubs, and even some of the teams require so many service hours
Okay,
too.
Yeah.
So
all right, so it's just a
Right.
different way, okay.
but
Well,
a couple years ago.
But yeah,
anyways.
I mean, I send stuff out, and like I said, had sent the very specific, this is what we could use, you know.
hopefully some opportunity, and we do have an opportunity coming up with United Way. I think you said we have some
Yeah.
opportunities for some landscaping,
June
some good things there.
24th, they will be there, so please put on your calendars to drop off at the library any, gardening tools, rakes, that kind of thing that we can borrow for the day of. Because the suggestion from United Way was to ask the Public Works Department, but we don't have one, so. But we're gonna have them plant some annuals and, you know, do some tidying up on the grounds, as they've done before,
So they need tools,
yes.
and highway department, I assume, would be the only option we have internally.
Yeah.
And
Um,
have we talked with them? And
I reached out to them and I kind of got what we're you know, they're using the tools that they have, so I said, like, Lita and I will bring in our assorted gardening tools. And I did suggest
Are we
to,
doing major weeding again?
yeah, we're
along
gonna have
that
to do
wall?
weeding
Along-
and
yeah.
weeding around the building, trimming some of the random
cover.
outgrowths out of the
Do we have
shrubberies.
timing for this?
June 24th, and they
Timing of the day.
arrive at, I believe, 9
The
o'clock.
same day the kickoff with the pigs?
Oh, no, sorry, it's the day before.
I was gonna
Oh,
say.
I was gonna say,
23rd.
that's
The
a-
24th is the rain date.
Okay.
In which case they can all pet the pig and then do some weeding.
9 to noonish?
I
is
think it's
the
9 to
about-
noon.
Okay.
They
I
take
will-
their group picture at 8 or 8:15
Right.
and then get sent out
Yeah, exactly.
What is the 24th calendar date, Saturday?
No, the 23rd is a Friday.
Friday.
Okay, the 24th is the United Way.
No, the
No,
twenty,
the
the
23rd.
24th is their rain date, that's why that's in my head.
Okay,
The
23rd.
23rd is the day.
That's
a
not right,
Friday.
because they won't get any volunteers on a Saturday. Because
Yeah.
Marfrey just lets them leave for.
But yeah, so if anybody does have, you know, a spare rake or a hand tools or
Okay.
something that you can, we will lock them in the shed until the day
And
of.
you'd probably be well advised to put your name on there somewhere. so that
Absolutely.
you might get it back.
Or do what I do with my
And
tools at the
Sharpie.
theater, which is I have a dot of bright pink nail polish in all
Okay.
of my power tools, because none of the guys are gonna take it.
And I must admit, I will try and be there like I do with the truck and some materials and just
Yeah,
load it
and
up.
I'll go out the day before, so, and buy some annuals to plant around, like our signs.
Oh.
Did we
to
get
do a
any
little-
answers to the request for mulch?
I figured I'd wait, since it's not till the end of June, I
Yeah,
figured
that's
I'd
fine.
wait a couple of weeks and then nudge
Who are
Highway
you
again.
requesting from?
Well, Highway had just put all of the mulch around Town Hall sign
Yep.
and all of the Veterans Memorial.
I would put that word out
Trust me,
sooner rather
Oh,
than
she
later.
has.
Oh, I've
She
already,
has,
I've
she
already
has.
spoken to them.
I
Um,
went into the library as they were doing the corner there, that memorial, I went, hey, how about we get some mulch?
But they also
We
did,
don't even
like,
have to
I know
spend
they
the
did
money.
Town
We'll
Hall.
do the work.
Yeah, they were working out
So-
here, this,
So I
the new
figure I'll
sign.
wait a week or two and then be
Because
like,
once they're
hey,
done, once it's gone, if there's only, they're like, oh, well, we can dump that at the library at the end, because we've already done. So I let them put it in a pile somewhere.
That's what that's
Well,
what
go
I
get
said,
Yeah,
we
put it
have
right near the
volunteers
shed, we cover it
coming.
with a top and
Yep.
we
If you
take
could
care of
just
it
dump
later.
it by the shed,
No,
that.
she's asked,
good.
I was
Yeah.
in on that email.
All right, so,
So, we'll see.
we've got some opportunities to improve the appearance, outside appearance at least, the facility, and that's wonderful. I mean, it makes it more welcoming. People hopefully will see a shiny new face as much as they can. Okay, Crawford Corner status. And as I think everyone's probably aware by now, we did put that out to the public looking for bids, and the response was underwhelming. I have in the past expressed some frustration with regards to the value we're getting from Studio MLA, and I think we've discussed this before, and quite honestly, I think that they should have provided us some guidance and suggested that maybe this isn't the right time to do that, and we could avoid the, not embarrassment, but the cost of having gone out there and for no return. We've paid these folks dearly, and it seems that we're providing them with a lot of education. I know that the last of the two conferences we had, the Zoom conferences we had with town council, that last one, as I understand it, was at their request. And I haven't seen them making payment on that, so I assume that they figure we've covered that as well as the first one.
Did you request payment from them?
No, I don't think we did, but that was at their instigation.
They're not gonna pay if they don't get a bill.
Yeah, well, they've been billing us pretty regularly, so they're pretty good at passing them along, unfortunately. We did get some information out of that, but obviously their skill is in regards to the design as opposed to the administrative aspects of these things.
So where do we stand?
So having reached out to, and there were a number of companies that expressed interest, like I know there were people that contacted Michelle with questions. There was one that the question got passed on to me and I forwarded an answer. But the sort of the consensus is that everybody, by the time the bid went out, for whatever reason, post-COVID, it's been a very busy time for landscapers and building decks and doing all that kind of thing. So they were all just at the stage where they didn't have the personnel to handle their projects and respond to a complicated bid project. So the suggestion was, coming from the companies that I and Studio MLA reached out to, was to reissue in the fall when people will have finished their major projects and be setting their schedules for the following year.
We don't really have a choice, do we? That's what we
No,
probably have to
unfortunately,
do.
it would appear that we don't. We'll have to try it again in the fall, hope for a better result, and obviously that moves us into 2024 before anything could ever happen.
Does this affect our contract with them, MLA?
Nope.
Does it increase anything? It better not, but.
Our contract
That's
is
a
based
very
on.
good question. I'm glad you brought that up.
Our contract is based on completing stages
Project.
of the work, not on a timeline.
Okay.
So when do we think we should re-put it out? October?
I was
If
going
they're
to
planning for spring
suggest
work.
like late September, so they're winding down, the summer stuff and starting to think about what
Okay.
they're doing next year.
September sounds.
We wanna beat the October bids.
All right.
Seriously, right?
I don't send
I
it
don't
out
know
around.
when people put in bids for spring work like that. I have no idea
Yeah.
when is really the end of the season. People do fall cleanups.
Yeah, for them it would be
So, so to me, it's like I'm thinking
Yeah.
October.
But I mean, I think it depends too on what, the guy that I work with to do the work in my yard doesn't do any, he stops in September. He doesn't do the fall cleanups and stuff. He does like.
As you said, some companies, they'll slow down because they won't be doing
Yeah.
certain things, and they may be looking for stuff to
And
do
they
in
won't-
October, November.
They won't have started snow plowing yet, so they've got kind of that.
But we're projecting that we're putting this out for a spring of '24, not fall, like, so.
I don't, if we got bids in September, I can't see work starting before the winter. because there's
Um,
materials to be acquired, you know, there's whole scheduling to be done.
I would literally ask them, the people who have been showing interest, say, hey, we understand we're talking 24. When do you need to have
Right.
our request? Be very upfront with them and say, hey, we need to get this done. We are interested in having your bid. When do you need to do it? We'd like it done spring of 24. And when do you want us to
Well,
put
that's-
something out to you?
That's a,
Just-
that's a good idea. I mean, ask
talk to
the
'em.
people who know, the people
Yeah.
in a position to do something. And then whether that's October or September, whatever works into their schedule, instead of
it.
just putting it out
Get it
on our
done.
own. Okay. Any other thoughts on that? Again, kind of disappointing. I sort of hoped that we'd be further along, but we're still in the game. It's not over yet. Alrighty. Moving on, director's evaluation. Both Ben and I have looked at those, and just a general comment, because I'm still referring to page 39 in terms of the new personnel handbook. Whatever any one of us may have put down there in terms of evaluation, that's pretty much what all of us totaled up in terms of evaluations. And
Very
we're,
similar.
Very, very similar. As I was discussing, Ben mentioned earlier, your thought was the next step in the process.
I mean, looking at page 39, which I hadn't really zeroed in on until Richard showed it to me. Should we meet with Drusilla and go through this, because it's supposed to be almost confidential?
Supposed to be, yeah.
And just the chair is supposed to designate, which he's designated, he and I, to sit down with Drusilla, go through them, and then we, as a group, have a special meeting before the
Town election.
election. Before the town election, so we have enough bodies here to vote correctly. And make a
One-
recommendation.
So,
One
you're-
item
you're
agenda.
just presenting to Drusilla, the trustees.
Right,
Exactly.
right,
about-
right.
no.
And again, it was remarkable, we are of a like mind. It surprised me, quite honestly,
Yeah.
but the consistency was there. We did only have 4. Ed had not been able to, given his health situation. And Adriana didn't feel
Understandable.
she'd been with us long enough to be part of the process at this point. So, fortunately, the timing is such that the town election is it the 12th?
So do we say?
June 12th.
June
June
12th
12th.
is town election.
So we
Our
would-
next meeting's supposed to be the 20th.
Right.
So do it before the 12th, so we have bodies.
Well,
How you say
if you look
bodies.
at the ballot, as the ballot stands now, there are 3 library trustee positions. 2
Open.
3-year terms and 1 1-year unexpired term. And there are blank spaces next to both of them. So, unless a write-in, you know, is there, we would be,
definitely could be.
literally, we
Oh,
would
yeah.
be a body of 3, which puts us in a precarious.
Body of 3.
So who is the 1 year? Who is the 1 year
Well,
that's up
1
for-
year would be
What about
the,
Adriana?
well, Adriana has to go in as a write-in.
Yes, the way the bylaws,
The
the way the
ballot-
bylaws are
Off.
written,
As of June 20th, right now, she's off, because
Right.
she was filling for a 1 year.
the
There-
way, the
Oh, I
way,
didn't realize it was a 1-year position.
yeah, the
Well,
way
but
the
she has to
bylaws
go
are
up
written,
again.
she finishes until the next,
So, you
next
didn't
election.
submit your signatures?
I
Because
didn't
you
because
weren't
I didn't
aware.
have time, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
all
there's
right.
some further
But
confusion
she
too.
could write in as,
The
Yeah.
card that she has, that she got when she was sworn in, indicates 2024.
Oh,
So,
That was a mistake.
some
Yeah,
things have
right.
muddied the waters a little bit. So, but again, the
but this will
ballot,
be a 3-year position for you now as a write-in.
Yes.
oh, okay, good.
But, yeah, I mean, but that's gonna have to be designated when we write it in, because there's a filling of 1 term and then 2
Yeah.
3s.
Right.
And you're gonna want people to say, put me in as a 3, please, I
Yes,
don't wanna have to
yes.
do this again next
Yes.
year, put me in as a 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many votes are necessary?
1.
Requested?
we have enough right
More than
here.
anybody else and you win.
Yeah, you can
well, I thought that Lori had said that there had
You-
to be a minimum number, so that you don't just write your friend in as a joke.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just think-
I
You
spoke
could-
with Lori today.
I think
and
it's a dozen.
What
but I
she
could be
does
wrong.
ask is that anyone who's interested to be considered as a write-in, that they let her know in advance. Because as she put it, she gets some very interesting names
You
that are written in there from
can,
time to time, in jest, I'm sure,
stickers.
some of them.
You can have stickers printed and
That's
hand
true.
out stickers.
You can also go to Webster Times, Stonebridge Press, and they will do a free letter
for you.
Where's that?
I did that when I was a write-in.
That was,
What's that
I
one?
think, maybe a
The
week or
Stonebridge
so, or
Press,
2
the
weeks
Webster
before,
Times
just
newspaper?
a letter. And I would ask those of us that are here this evening if we could use that social media thing or emails that may, to friends that we might have.
Exactly.
Hopefully suggesting that they do so, and you really only need a handful of votes, quite
Mm-hmm.
honestly. It doesn't take a whole lot. But as the ballot stands today,
Yep.
it's a little on the weak side, quite honestly. Or so, the
The
thought.
whole ballot, not just us.
Oh, no, the whole
It's the
ballot.
whole
That there are a
ballot.
lot of, most positions are uncontested, and I think there's also some others without any names associated. So if there's anybody out there in TV land who has interest in running for something, please take a look at the ballot, and there are opportunities for you, certainly. But as Ben has suggested, we would have one meeting, a short meeting, I would think,
One agenda item.
one agenda item, and that would be again before the June election, so that we didn't have any questions after the election in
So
terms of
I'm
who was
assuming
in.
that you will send us what it is, so we
Well-
can review it, like the compilation of everyone's.
Page 39.
I don't
Page
think we
39.
did.
So how are we, like,
Exactly.
how do you vote on something like that?
Well, what you
then?
would do is you would vote on, based on what your feeling is, not so much necessarily consideration of what everybody else has thought, but what your feeling is, you'd vote your opinion. Just as when you go to the ballot today.
How do you do that?
Well, when you go to when you mark your ballot down there, let's say for the office of president, for example, you don't bring a group with you, you vote individually. You say, I want this guy or that guy, and that's it.
No one's.
We're talking about an evaluation,
We're talking
Right.
about an evaluation. This
Right, it's
isn't-
an evaluation, but it is, in effect, it is moving somebody forward into an office or
Oh,
position that
okay.
they're in.
Okay. So the question that we will be answering.
You'd be answering for
is,
yourself.
The
Well, 'cause
question
my
is, do you
contract-
continue the
My
contract
contract is
to
up
be
on
renewed?
June 30th.
Okay.
And I
That's basically
believe,
what we're
Okay.
doing.
Okay.
effectively, what we're doing, I believe, in the way this, I'm reading this page 39 into this, if you will, is we're making essentially a recommendation to the town manager, because he will handle the detail in terms of working conditions and other line items with regards to contract, because we don't sign the contract. We haven't in the past, at least. I don't believe there's any opportunity for us to do that. So, that one meeting, what we need is a date in terms of when we could do that. In terms of what calendars, what works in people's calendars.
So you're
And
talking before?
Before the
June 12th?
election.
Towards
Yes.
the 12th, yes.
just to have the assurance that we will have a quorum and a sufficient number of serving members that will meet the bill. So we're here now. Now, next week, we have the town meeting on the 22nd. I don't know if the 23rd or the 30th. The 30th is what, just after Memorial Day.
What day of the week, or I don't have my.
We could stay with the
It's
Tuesdays.
Tuesday.
Is Tuesday not good for you?
Tuesdays are, I'm usually in New Hampshire on Tuesdays.
Okay.
Okay.
Tuesdays and
We can make a difference
Wednesdays.
there.
So we can
Yeah,
work with
so
you.
if we could do like a Thursday, maybe.
Thursday?
What's the date?
Thursdays
25.
would be
25th?
the 25th. Yeah,
Um,
first.
May
that
25th?
is actually
Wait a minute, is
going
that
away
Memorial
for
Day
Memorial
weekend?
Day weekend.
That's not good, okay?
Right,
And June 1st is another Thursday.
Aye.
that works for me.
Work,
The
okay?
June 1st.
Hey, Jenna?
Yes.
And again,
It doesn't
Ben said
work,
no?
does it?
Does not work.
doesn't work for you.
4:30 to 6:30.
No, and I can't, I mean, not that you need me for that one, but I
Gonna say,
can't be
How about a
on
Monday?
Tuesday.
Are you available Mondays?
Yes.
No,
All right, then.
just have to let me know if I'm dropping.
Is anybody available Mondays?
Is it what?
Is anybody available on Mondays?
Oh, you're around on Mondays?
Mhm.
Oh.
Okay,
June 5th.
well, there's a holiday on the 29th, I guess. the
Yeah,
option
June
is,
5th.
They have to be June 5th, because the next Monday is the town
Voting.
meeting.
June 5th.
Yeah, June 5th,
Sounds good to me.
the day before D-Day. June 5th,
Sounds
it's
good.
6:15, and we'll try to get it in here.
6:15.
I'll
Sounds
text
so
Amanda.
familiar.
Okay,
We'll do that, thank you.
All right.
See?
good.
Still a little post.
All right, to be continued, and we just covered the election, that's a good thing to have done. Oh, here we get to the most exciting part of the day. Board member comments and our observations.
I'm fine.
Joyce?
Any brainstorming on the bad movies? Something to replace that? Any replacement? What day is that, did that happen on?
Thursday evenings. It's a
I-
Thursday evening for them.
Okay.
I will break confidence. There's comment among the evaluations that I think we've got a deep six, the bad movies.
Oh, we've already canceled
already
them.
did.
All right, well,
Already
we're
canceled.
gonna really deep six them there.
No, I'm asking brainstorming, like, to replace it
What to replace
with.
it, what are we
Yeah,
gonna replace it
we're-
with, what kind of movies?
I was waiting till we had summer reading nailed down, to make sure that there was nothing happening on like Thursday evenings, and then I've been talking to the staff to see if they have any.
Summer reading for Thursday evenings, there's plans for that?
Well, I don't know.
Sometimes.
That's there, but there are on occasion, because summer is a very different
Mhm.
animal, so I need to be sure when I can start another program. And I've asked the staff to brainstorm, so
And some ideas, what'd they come up with?
they haven't really come up with any, but they've all said they'll think about it, so.
All right, well, we can offer ideas too, as well. Do you have
Sure
thought?
can.
Okay.
Did you have
I was
something?
gonna say, is there something,
No, community reader could be, or something, I don't know, I have no idea.
All right.
And then I wanted to know, we kinda touched, you said you were gonna touch base with, Book Lovers Gourmet on that partnership. What, any word on when you spoke with her? You said
I
you just saw her?
actually saw Deb yesterday, but we were talking about the, program that's on Thursday night this week, because Deb and I are both on the committee. So had not had a chance, but I'm having dinner with her Thursday, actually, and was gonna ask if there was a time that I could swing by and talk to her. But every time I see her, we've been, with finalizing, arrangements for.
Well, maybe you could email her prior so that she's kind of already prepared.
Ready.
Ready for that conversation, so she knows where you're coming with that information.
and we should be advertising Thursday night too.
We've put it out several places.
I know, yes,
You know,
right now.
but yes,
We're
right,
on-
it's a big, it's a big thing, and this is the first year that, our library has been asked to partner with Webster to make this happen, so, it's nice, we're planning to build going forward to make it even more of a partnership, between the two libraries, but yes, Peter Heller is at 6:30, on Thursday night at the Webster Library, and he should be fabulous, he should be a great speaker. Everyone who's seen him, like everyone that was one of my jobs, was to call people and find out how he was as a presenter, and they were all, he's very dynamic, he had everyone really into it, so.
Okay, so that is the 18th, because I was just, there was a program at the Black Tavern on the 17th, I think it is, Mark Twain.
I think that's the same night, isn't
It
it?
is.
It's the same
And-
night,
Same night,
And
Thursday
then-
night?
It's the 18th.
Oh.
And the.
which is bad for, there's
Yeah,
a lot of
Gladys-
people who would,
Gladys Kelly, the folks at Gladys
Yeah.
Kelly were not aware when they picked the date that the Black Tavern does
Yeah.
the same Thursday every month, so
Yeah.
that was one of the things that I was able to say,
Mm.
going forward, we need to avoid the third Thursday,
Yeah.
because that's Black Tavern night.
Yeah, well,
and they've got a good program too.
yeah, they do. I was planning to go to that. I mean,
I saw it was the same night.
it's,
so
Yeah.
I was kind of, when she said the 18th, for some reason, I was thinking, oh, 17th and 18th is too different, but it's
Yeah,
not.
they had already chosen the date for the event when I was invited to help figure out who we wanted, so, like I said, now they know going forward, but that's one of the advantages of having
It's an embarrassment of riches.
someone
You
from
got-
both towns.
you got two
And
good.
if you don't wanna do something on Thursday, I believe it's Tuesday night that author William Kent Kruger will be in, Putnam. The northeast corner of Connecticut has a program called Quiet Corner Reads, and he will be speaking there.
Ah, they have a nice new library now at the
They do, yeah.
Municipal Center in Putnam. I was in there the other day.
But I believe that's where he's speaking, down there somewhere.
That's next Tuesday?
That's, yeah, next Tuesday.
So two good opportunities
that
for
further.
folks, regrettably both on the same evening. Something, well,
Yeah.
but
Last year's, I did go to
Good to
last
have.
year's Webster's reading, I'm not able to be around this Thursday, but they had a good turnout, it was 50 to 60 people,
Nice.
for the author they had last year, and she was fabulous.
Yeah, we're hoping for 50, but I've already heard from some folks in Connecticut, because I was responsible for, I'm still in touch with many of the libraries there, for reaching out, and we've actually heard from some people who are planning to come, so we're hoping to have higher numbers.
that's his book, The Dog Star?
The Dog Stars is the, sort of the focus,
Bestseller.
that was the one book, but he's written quite a few things. A lot of, he's also written nonfiction, he wrote for National Geographic. So a lot of sort of nature-oriented, very outdoorsy.
What do they do for overflow parking? Have they talked about that at
I
all?
have no idea.
In Webster,
Parking in Webster, if you're gonna have 50 or 60 people.
there's not that much,
Parking is
no.
Yeah.
not.
The
Yeah.
best I can think is the church parking lot up above.
Yeah, I think that would be what you would have to do, is park at one of the nearby parking lots and just kind of go for it.
Yeah, I don't know, the post office is closed by then, you could probably squeeze a few in there, but there's no.
Kathy, this is a microphone.
Oh,
And
I'm wondering what I'm hearing.
Oh,
I just wanted
sorry
to
about
find
that.
out if that's a
Oopsie.
microphone.
I was looking for more paper to write.
Joyce, anything else that you'd like to
No, I
offer?
don't think so.
Ben?
I'm good, thank you.
Kathy?
I thought about, with the brainstorming for the movie type of thing, what if we did some kind of like a travel log type of thing that's New England? You know how Rick Steves Europe, they'll do a travel log about Vienna one day, or France or something? What if we have something to kick off, New England, to kick off summer vacation, that maybe Acadia National Park or something like that? Something national parks related?
Well,
Okay.
the Army Corps of Engineers, like Buffinville, they have
Mm-hmm,
like rangers that maybe could come and speak.
yeah.
Like a tank away, like.
Oh, right, the Chronicle programs are
Chronicle,
wonderful.
take away,
Right,
just
right, right.
Let's pick something for people to be able to
Something
get
local,
there.
right.
Something, a tank away, and there's like different
Yeah.
parks within our
Right.
area. Because as you said, we've got a.
Or even does Channel 2 have anything they could lend to us to show?
Yeah, it doesn't have to
know?
actually be a person, it could be.
Right, right, a
viewing. We
program
could
that-
have
yeah.
Yeah.
A program like, yeah.
Or one of
exactly.
those Chronicle take away segments we could borrow to show at the library would be wonderful.
Mhm.
And that would kick off summer vacation for the students, give something,
Yep.
that's local.
That's a good, I think, good
I
thought.
wonder if Chronicle does
That's
do
the one.
that. Because it'd be neat, like they did Martha's Vineyard.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They did all of Martha, I wonder if they will
Yeah,
share
they have
those.
wonderful
bet-
programs. I
bet
wonder if they
won't.
would-
I mean, they've spent a lot of money to produce that thing, they're not just gonna,
Ooh,
I
the-
don't
Well,
know, be
and-
interested.
Yeah,
and
but
it
that's-
depends on-
it's
I know it depends on, having now been on television, which was very weird, I was on a reality TV show for an episode. When you sign a release, it's very specific for what they can use it for, so I think it would depend on whether they had, anybody they talked to would have had to agree that it could be distributed,
Go on,
but
you
I
go
can,
on,
I
Chronicle
can
thing,
ask.
Whatever.
They might say for
We're-
educational purposes, you can't
Or
show
would
it.
something,
Yeah.
maybe PBS be more likely
Right,
to
that's-
offer
Share.
something that,
Are you allowed to, like, I don't know what the licensors, like, I know you said Disney, we can't show
Yeah,
a
Disney-
Disney movie.
yeah, Disney
What about
is-
YouTube?
oh,
That, YouTube is not covered by movie licensing, that depends on the individual person who posted the video.
I see.
So, some people are like, yes, please share this widely, and some people are, you view it here on my YouTube channel, and that's it.
everybody's got something tied down, yeah, so we have to, obviously have to be aware of the legalities here.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Get ourselves in
Don't
any
get sued,
courts, no, no,
please.
we don't wanna be sued, that's for sure. That's a good idea, Kathy, We'll
Very
see
good
what else might be available. Sure, there's something
No,
out
that's what
there.
I'd like to see.
Yeah,
No,
well,
exactly.
did you have anything further?
No, I think we're all set. Well, so we'll do that. Ed and I would be here for that one last meeting,
One
if
day,
Ed.
hopefully,
Yes,
yeah.
sure,
And
yeah,
then-
that's-
Knock on wood,
Yeah.
hell, it is in good shape.
Right.
Adriana?
And then we'd be done.
All right. I just wanted to thank Kathy, and Ed obviously is not with us this evening, unfortunately, due to health concerns, but I wanted to thank you for having been a part of this body.
Well, it's been
Uh,
a pleasure.
I wish the heck you were staying with us, but you've made a decision, and
What if we write in her name?
No,
oh,
because then she could
Then
just
it's
not go
embarrassing
get-
for you if she says no.
Well, no, but then somebody could choose not to get sworn in, and
Well,
you'd still be
Right,
empty,
right.
so.
we do appreciate
Yeah, I
what
have-
you've done, and then it would.
My hand's on a lot of pies right now, so.
Well, for the time being, we'll let you off the hook, so to speak, but we certainly, I
That's
think.
not going too far, we'll keep that, Kathy.
We'll try to keep the seat warm for you and
Exactly.
for Ed as well, hopefully, and he is recovered and feeling better. I just came back from an interesting trip to some parts of the country that are a good deal different, Wyoming, Colorado, and South Dakota. And opportunity to visit some of the libraries out there. And one of the great things about libraries is people are always very welcoming. the experience in Wyoming. I was telling Ben earlier, went into this library in Lusk, Wyoming, and things are piled up, I mean, to the rafters. They have this little stair, this contraption that they move around to get things. And the librarian explained that she doesn't like to throw things out, so everything is kept. And she saw me looking at a book and said, well, take it. I said, well, I don't have a card. She said, well, just drop it at any library. And apparently it would find its way back to them, I guess is the way that thing works.
Well, considering some of the things that have shown up at our library
Well,
from other
yeah.
places, I mean, most of the time, yeah, it'll get there eventually.
So again, as I said, they're very welcome. One of the things that I did come back with is, and this is a copy of I have to read you the title of this publication because people might think I'm making it up. It is the Laramie Boomerang.
Say that again?
The Laramie Boomerang. This is
okay.
Laramie, Wyoming, which is in Albany County. Albany County is 36,000 people, and 33,000 of them live in Laramie. They have a daily newspaper, and the article is entitled, Library Board Considers Letting Users Put Warning Stickers on Books.
Interesting.
That's been floated a number,
Well, there
that's
you
not a
go.
new idea.
Let me cut
yet.
to the chase. We'll go right to the bottom here. Library Director Terry Leslie said the system is currently under review by the county attorney's office. The library board is set to vote on it at this May meeting. I don't know what the outcome in terms of the vote would have been, but it was subject to some kind of legal review. If anyone's interested, I'd be happy to make copies of this. I did.
You might want to call, Adriana. You can call.
I did coincidentally pick up a book that they had in their sales section, and as I was telling you earlier, there was some rather interesting comments that people had already started adding, at least in this particular book, and they were not very flattering as far as the author was concerned. Supposedly a work of historical fiction, and someone's comment was wasn't fiction and it wasn't history, and this guy didn't know what they went off on him pretty badly. So I guess this sort of a system would allow for that sort of thing. I don't know what parameters they would put in place, but this whole issue in terms of what's going on the shelves and where it is not just in Dudley or in Massachusetts. It's in all places, Laramie, Wyoming as well. So with that, I think it might be appropriate for a motion to adjourn. Yes.
I second.
Ben made the motion.
All right, any discussion of that one? Rarely is. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, thank you.